Okay guys, welcome. Going to do number 4 of my favorite pick of the top 5 Dylan songs. Yesterday I told you all that number 5 for me was Caribbean Wind. Today it's number 4, and number 4 is another song that never got on the album and was made famous for a long time by means of the Biograph album, and it's Up to Me. I think it's pretty clear why it didn't go on the album. The main melody is reminiscent of Shelter from the Storm, and the story is similar to a lot of the stories on Tangled Up in Blue, a guy kind of drifting around trying to escape his past, and but not being able to, always remembering someone, thinking of someone from the past, and feeling that the past is as real as the present, and it's always just about to catch up with you. This is Dylan kind of playing games with narrative, as we know he did on Blood on the Tracks. Is it Dylan? Is it somebody else? We don't know. Probably an amalgam of all sorts of things. Some great lines here, some great lyrics. Perhaps it's more intimate than songs like Tangled Up in Blue and Shelter from the Sun. They are very intimate too, but they have a kind of epic scope. This is more kind of telling a very personal story without so much imagery, more direct perhaps. Yeah, the same idea as Tangled Up in Blue, about some guy drifting around doing fairly meaningless jobs and trying to escape the past, but not able to do it. The only decent thing I did when I worked as a postal clerk was to hold your picture down off the wall near the cage where I used to work. Was I a fool or not to protect your real identity? You looked a little burned out, my friend. I guess that it was up to me. Might have dropped a line there, but anyway, this idea of some guy drifting around and doing menial jobs and the past always close behind, similar to Tangled Up in Blue, about her dropping down to tie the laces of his shoes in the nightclub. So a lot of familiar tropes from this great album, Blood on the Tracks, and somehow or other a masterpiece like this never actually got onto the album, although so many people came to know it from Biograph. Another verse which I remember as very effective is the one about the Sermon on the Mount. We heard the Sermon on the Mount, but we knew it was too complex. It didn't say anything more than the broken glass reflects. When you bite off more than you can chew, you've got to pay the penalty. You looked a little burned out, my friend. I guess that it was up to me. So this refrain, up to me, keeps returning all the time. Yeah, so many memorable images. The technique is similar to T.S. Eliot, really. It's a lot of fragmentary images all put together, asking questions of the listener or the reader, and the listener begins to fill in the gaps, tries to answer the questions, and so is personally engaged in the story and kind of creates a story as he or she goes along. So it's a very masterful artistic technique. Yeah, there are so many great lines in this song. Death kept following, tracking us down. At least I heard your bluebird sing. Everything went from bad to worse. Money didn't mean a thing. Death kept following, tracking us down. At least I heard your bluebird sing. But I'm just too stubborn to ever be governed by enforced insanity. So yeah, so many memorable images, so many memorable lines. In 14 months I only smiled once, and I didn't do it consciously. So we're in the same world as the great tracks on Blood on the Tracks, kind of mysterious stranger drifting around from state to state, trying to escape the past in search of something, in search of someone, and we feel that the past is always about to catch up with him in the present. So these are the reasons why I like it so much. If I play the whole song, it's going to get blocked. So what I'm going to do is play some of it from cover version, which is pretty good and is played more or less in the same way that Dylan plays it, although the voice is a bit different, but it's very clear, so at least you get an idea of the song with this. So let me bring it up. Here we go.
Everything went from bad to worse. Money never changed a thing. Death kept following, tracking us down. At least I heard your bluebird sing. Now somebody's got to show their hand. Time is the enemy. I know you're long gone. I guess it's gonna be up to me. If I'd have thought about it, I never would have done it. I guess I would have let it slide. If I'd have paid attention to what others were saying, the heart inside me would have died. But I was just too stubborn to ever be governed by forced insanity. Someone had to reach for the rising star. I guess it was up to me. Oh, the Union Central is pulling out. The orchids are in bloom. I've only got me one good shirt left, and it smells of stale perfume. And in 14 months I've only smiled once, and I didn't do it consciously. Somebody's got to find your trail. I guess it must be up to me. Well, I was like a revelation when you betrayed me with your touch. I just about convinced myself that nothing had changed that much. The old rounder in the iron mask, he slipped me the master key. Somebody had to unlock your heart. He said it was up to me. Well, I watched you slowly disappear down into the officers' club. I would have followed you in the door, but I didn't have a ticket stub. So I waited all night till the break of day, hoping one of us would get free. When the dawn came over the river bridge, I knew it was up to me. The only decent thing I did when I worked as a postal clerk was to haul your picture down off the wall near the cage where I used to work. Was I a fool or not to protect your real identity? You looked a little burned out, my friend. I thought it might be up to me. Well, I met somebody face to face. I had to remove my hat. She's everything I need in love, but I can't be swayed by that. Well, it frightens me, the awful truth of how sweet life can be. But she ain't gonna make a move. I guess it must be up to me. Well, we heard the Sermon on the Mount, and I knew it was too complex. It didn't amount to anything more than what the broken glass reflects. You bite off more than you can chew, you have to pay the penalty. Somebody's got to tell the tale. I guess it must be up to me.
Okay, so kudos to that guy, Toronto something. I'll put a link to his channel down below, and yeah, go and check him out. He does a good job with this song, and you really get a great idea of how profound the lyrics are. And he sort of plays it on the acoustic guitar in the same way that Dylan does. And like I say, if I could find the song and played it with Dylan, then it would be blocked. So this is a kind of compromise, right? And again, thanks to Toronto. Great cover. So that's my number 4 song. It's another song from Biograph, and another song from Dylan that never actually made it onto the album, full of the same kind of enigmatic qualities, fragmentary images, broken relationships, and searching qualities typical of all the best songs on Blood on the Tracks. I can see why it never actually made it onto the album, as I did with Caribbean Wind, but all the same, it's a truly great song, and that album is just superb and has so many great songs. This is one of them. So yeah, that's my number 4. Up to Me. Number 5 was Caribbean Wind, and number 4 is Up to Me. So tomorrow or soon, I'll tell you what my number 3 is. So thanks for watching, and subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoy taking this journey with me. So thanks a lot.